Number 3. It's critical you be happy with those that are happy. Be happy with those that are happy. And cry with those that cry. You've all seen it. Somebody comes in a room, they've just done a huge sale. They just signed a giant contract with somebody. It's great. Isn't it wonderful when they do that? And it's so easy to clap and shake hands and hug one another because it's wonderful because you did something wonderful. What if they come in and tell you, I just got fired. A dog died. That's important if you're a redneck. They lost a big contract. Their boss is on them. It's all going, what do you do then? How do you respond to that? I had a lady come to my office last summer just to tell me she was closing her business down because she'd failed. Her business had failed, and she wasn't handling it very well. Who handles failure very well anyway? Because in this society, we all win, don't we? Nobody loses. Everybody's a winner. But a strategic relationship, your relationships, require that you be a faithful friend in victory and failure. And that's the hard part, to be there when you're in failure. We've all been there. Can I back up a second? Because I want to talk about 2 people. And I want to talk about it earlier than I did. I want to give you some examples of what I'm talking about in this room right here, right now. There is no way on God's green earth I'd be up here tonight were it not for Ellen Dunnigan. Yes, thank you. Ellen has worked so hard to help me be a better speaker at Greenwood and to prepare for tonight. And you need to know how hard she's worked. She's probably a candidate for canonization as far as I can tell, but she's worked so hard with all of her immense talent and ability to help me do this better. And I appreciate her so much for it. But I got to tell you, I wouldn't have been able to meet with her had Tony Zelso not recruited me to be a Greenwood chair. I've been the Greenwood chair for a year and a half. It's been a ton of fun. It's had a huge impact on my life, and I think it's going to for a long time. A long, long time. But there's a phone call that Tony and I had together about probably close to 2 years ago. That he probably won't remember, but I do. He made a choice on the phone that day to tell me what I needed to hear and not what I wanted to hear. And I got to tell you, when he told me that, I was hot. I was fighting mad. Remember that, Tony? Yeah, he does. I could have hung the phone up and walked away and been done with the Rainmakers forever. I was that angry. But when I came down to earth and got some time to cool off a little bit, I knew Tony had my interests ahead of his interest to keep a paying customer. I want to paint a picture for you. I'm a paying customer of the Rainmakers. I'm his customer. My company's a sponsor. I could have been furious. And I could have hung the phone and walked away and never come back again. But I didn't, because Tony had my interests ahead of hers, like Ellen had my interests ahead of hers as well. And I thank you both for it. The 4th principle, and the absolute most important one, if you take nothing else home tonight, take this one home. You are intended to serve. You're meant to. The leader I admire most said of himself, I did not come to be served, but to serve. Now, we live in a society that is very concerned with having our needs met. There are institutions and committees all over the country whose sole purpose is to help you find your felt needs and develop a program to meet them. And I want to ask you, are we so important? We have to have our needs met to be validated. What happens here? What happens in this room when you change to find a way to give instead of take? What happens? Ask yourself that. We have misdefined service, what it means to be a servant. My dad was a car salesman, no surprise there. He was also a veteran of World War II in Korea. But my dad, by his own admission, mystified what it meant to serve his family, because he put everything he had into his job. And my only memories of him as a child are watching him through the window while I'm outside playing and banging away letters to his customers on a Smith Corona in the days before word processors. That's my sole memory of him as a child. We missed a lot of our time. My dad's desire to earn and achieve and serve his family from a missed the definition of service cost him his marriage. And he missed most of our childhoods. I'm fortunate to say that in later life he slowed down. And I really had a great relationship with my dad before he passed 7 years ago. It's about service. I can trust the old sergeant on this one. You're intended to do nothing from selfishness or empty ambition, but in humility to look at one another as more important than yourself. And you're intended, listen to me, you're intended to look after not only your own things, but also the things of others. And you're intended to be happy with those that are happy and cry with those that cry. And you're intended to serve. You're meant to serve. We're called for it. That's why you're here. Just 4 principles. They're simple, aren't they? But they're hard to apply, aren't they? They're tough. It takes a mindset change. But they change everything, don't they? Sadly, in our society, we have replaced the idea of service with careerism, meism, and the corporate mindset. But these rules change everything. Absolutely everything. What will you take home tonight from our time together? Can I encourage you to look at your relationships with new eyes? New eyes. Look at your relationships through the eyes of a servant. Because you know that if you want to be more, you have to serve more, don't you? You know that. Just imagine.